Always check charities for cheating. Welcome to Mark and Pete. Now, here's a thought.
One dark night. A shining knight was once adored for the deeds that he explored, but his gauntlet was flawed when he committed fraud, then he fell upon his sword. Yes, now the man that was once dubbed the country's kindest plumber has had his British citizen award rescinded. Now, the reason for this is that James Anderson from Burnley was given the accolade back in 2023 because he was providing free plumbing services to communities. Unfortunately, as it is now deemed, that these were completely fake stories. So this shining knight, this man who claimed that he had done good in society, was false. Clergyman Pete, I ask you, for those who do cheat charity, what should be their punishment?
Well, that's interesting. I suppose the first thing to say is that if someone is getting donations given to the charity, then it depends on their reputation. The first thing that needs to go is the reputation of the person. That's the first punishment. The reputation needs to go, so it needs to be, I suppose, publicly acknowledged that they've been cheating. And the second thing is there should be a mechanism. There is, of course, if it's clear why you donated to them, hopefully having it in writing, then the money should be returned.
Well, yes, but it's not easy, is it? Especially if the money's been spent. Now, the thing here is that,
that's
of course,
their concern.
Oh, of course. But now the British Citizens Award said that the information which had come to light about Mr. Anderson's action did not align with their values. What a surprise. Well, the fact is that there were several examples where many well-known celebrities, such as Lily Allen, Hugh Grant, and many others, had given tens of thousands of pounds to this charity. Well, the fundraising regulator has confirmed that they are opening investigations to the company that Mr. Anderson had set up. This is called Deaf Community Interest Company, CIC. And this is to determine if the SACs had actually breached any code of conduct for basically the fundraising practice. But the fact of the matter is that when you make a claim, when you state that you're doing something for communities, etc., surely on the goodwill you would expect that this is followed through and you are actually doing what you say. Now, I think there is an omission here, folks, because the plumber has said that he was looking for forgiveness from the country. And he said in a media interview, "I apologize, I really do apologize, I'm really sorry, and I will make amends." Well, I don't see how he can make amends now, but it's a little bit after after the night has bolted.
Yes.
So what does he do? What does he do to redeem himself?
Well, I mean, I think, it is a bit late. It is difficult in that sort of situation, and I can't see how people are going to trust him again. So,
yes.
I mean, the fact is that he is a plumber. So although he's engaged in some, or claimed to be engaged in some charitable activity,
yes.
It's a business. So it's a bigger problem for him in that if you're cheating in terms of what you're actually doing for free, the claims that he were made were bogus, paid work might also dry up because they think if you cheat on that, what else are you cutting corners on?
Quite.
So, and I think that's a problem of his own making. His whole business could collapse, unless, of course, he can keep his name out of it. And but that is, as I say, a problem for him, and it is deserved that he's having that difficulty because what he was doing was, I guess there's two things. One is he's playing on people's heartstrings to get them to give money, maybe money that they couldn't afford to spare, but they thought, no, I'll give anyway because this is for a good cause and people need it. But the second thing is that it tarnishes the reputation of similar charities and people who are actually doing good work. It makes people suspicious of giving. So all in all, it's a bad thing to do. Now, I don't know. Maybe you could shine light on this. I don't know what information you have. Has he actually done anything illegal? I don't think. My understanding that he hasn't. It isn't actually
Well,
illegal. He's just
this is
given a false impression,
yes.
but not actually illegal.
Well, at the moment, the investigation is continuing because the misappropriation of funds is where obviously there's a seriousness. What he's actually done is he has definitely been guilty of claiming stories which were fake, which is why he was given effectively an award, a British Citizen Awards, because of the work that he was apparently doing. But of course, obviously, that award has now been rescinded. So on the one hand, that's misled that organisation. Probably
Sure.
You can argue the public as well, because of course, was his motivation fame as opposed to taking or misappropriating funds? But I think that the key here is that when charities are under tremendous stress, so let's take the bigger picture here. The economy is poor. Many of the charities have either had to close, or they're struggling, or they've had to scale down. So what they're really relying on is these shiny knights who are out there who have a genuine cause, no personal gain as such, whether that be through awards or any other monetary gain. And they're doing it because they see a purpose or a cause that they value and they can see can add to value to individuals and, of course, society. Unfortunately, what I think seems to have happened here is that this gentleman has fallen foul of the of really the opportunities to mislead for whatever reason, whether it be for fame, whether it be for money or whatever. But really, either way, it's a serious side of it. Now, take aside the money, even if he's not pocketed any money, what he has done is he has broken trust. And at a time when charities need people to be genuine, and that's where I think that there does need to be some punishment put in place. Now, What is that level of punishment? Should that be a fine? Should that be a prison sentence? Should that be something else? I mean, and again, we don't want to over-escalate this, but the fact of the matter is that when you cheat a charity, you're not just cheating yourself, but you're cheating thousands of people in a community and possibly even beyond that. And it's the reputation of the charities that also are on the line here too.
Yeah, I mean, I think a fine would sound reasonable to me if he can be shown to have broken some law. Of course, it is possible for people to sue him because his behaviour could well have affected them, emotionally. It could have had a poor effect on them. It depends at what level there are people affected by it, and also it depends how far you can prove that that people were actually acting in response to deception. And if you can prove that, I think that certainly some sort of private law cases could be brought. But I think the main thing is the reputation. I do think that, and him having a poor reputation, making it clear that this isn't how charities behave is important. I mean, it's part of the way we run things, and I think we should run things more in this way. Small charities are a good way to go. So I'm very keen that this sort of misrepresentation is rooted out. My question is, why were people taken in? It's quite easy to check on social media and see whether things are being claimed. You can just get in touch with the people who are mentioned, see if he actually did it.
Yeah.
Presumably that came out, but after he'd been given the award.
Well, this is the thing yes, exactly. This is the thing which I think is the nugget of the story, which is, he's guilty, whatever it is, and the investigations will continue. But to me, whether it's the charity themselves or in this particular case, an award scheme, they should have done their due diligence. I mean, surely there's a lesson in itself here.
Yes, I agree. And that's it. You need to be careful and take into account social media, and we can. I think bodies like that give out awards can learn from how businesses behave. Because if you go for a job,
yes,
your social media is tested, and your reputation online is tested. Surely the same sort of techniques could be used. And
they actually do what's called security checks, and that's part and pretty much mandatory for most businesses. So what they do is, yes, they will do some general scanning anyway of you, but what they actually do is there are official lines of inquiries, and I'm surprised that in the principle, charities and awards and so on should be doing something very, very similar. Do your due diligence, folks.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to leave it there for this week with that warning to watch out and always check charities for cheating, and also encourage those who are giving out awards to do their due diligence, as Mark said. Take a lesson from business in this case, and make sure that you find out whether it's true before giving an award. But that's all from Mark and Pete for this week. Thanks very much for listening. Make sure that you subscribe so that you'll receive all the next episodes going forward. But for now, it's bye. Catch you next time.